Welcome to Rent TV, centered on Africa. So, Ibrahim Traore, the leader of Burkina Faso, it seems like he's aligning. Every day I'm seeing more news of him aligning with Russia. And I'm not the one to say if it's a good or a bad idea or a good or a bad move. My thing is, I hope he's doing it for reasons that has nothing to do with basically be careful to not be a pawn between this whole America versus Russia thing, this whole North Korea, Russia, China, and those guys versus America, France, UK, and all these other guys. Where it's just like, one thing you have to be aware of is that when two so-called superpowers are going at each other, or two groups of superpowers are going at each other, it's easy for you who's on the come up to be collateral damage or just pawns in their little games that they're playing. You know what I'm saying? Because now he's doing a lot of business. I'm not going to say he's aligning with Russia. He's doing a lot of business because I think he's just viewing it from a perspective. That's who's offering me the best deal to accomplish whatever goals he has. I don't know. But I feel like, but now I'm seeing all those guys that usually aligns with Russia. They seem to be supporting him now and saying a whole bunch of things about him now, which is like, it's cool. But it's like, it seems like it's one of those things where they're trying to make you one of them. Like, to join them, where it might go deeper than business, because that's how all this stuff goes. You know, it's just like, you might be looking at it as like you trying to do business, but once all of them starts putting their arms around you, it becomes a thing where it's almost like they want to recruit you to be one of them, bro. And you could do what you want, but my advice would be, it's best for you to just keep it business, bro. You know, and keep it cordial and always do good business. You know, but like, as far as, unless that's what you want to do, you want to align, then by any means do that. But as far as, you don't want to get tricked into a position you don't want to be, you know, because these guys, they have some type of thing going on between them, like the American and Russia thing, and China and North Korea. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're the guy that's just, oh, this guy, whatever, they will use you as a pawn in their little games they're playing. You know what I'm saying? They will use you as a pawn in their little game. That's just how it goes. It's even deeper than them. In any situation like that, when you're the person that's like trying to elevate yourself, and people who are already so-called established, you gotta watch out for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I see everything he's doing, but it's just something I noticed. Like you gotta make sure you don't get too deep. You maintain your freedom, which would also be somewhat of what some might call your independence, because your goal is to elevate your country, and not even that. I mean that, but that's not what I'm talking about. Your goal is to do good business, bro. You know, have a good rapport when it comes to being someone who does good business as far as the brand of your country and stuff like that. I feel like that's the main goal, rather than, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's more important than aligning, because once you align, now you have to be, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be someone who they're babysitting, because Burkina Faso doesn't really have the means to go to war with America, like, you know. And the minute you align, you would have to make sure you have at least something where you could hold your own. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but I don't think, you know, you'd have to get support from Russia and all these guys. And you don't want to start a fight where your biggest asset is you depending on someone else, not yourself. Because those guys, as much as they will want to help you, the biggest motive of them helping you is because they don't like those guys over there. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing those guys over there do too to them. You know? So now it's this thing going on. So it's like, my advice is to just keep a level head and stay focused on what you're trying to do and do good business, bro. Not, you know what I'm saying? You're doing all the sentimental stuff. People in Burkina Faso walking around with Russian flags and all this stuff, and it's like, it's getting sentimental, bro. Like, you gotta watch all that stuff. You don't want it to get sentimental and get emotional and these type of things, bro. It's that's when you start crossing lines and it gets deep. You know, emotions. You know, you gotta check them. You know, and check your people, bro.